Hello everyone, I am Tasta, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War, Bunnies, and Bows event in which the Burrow Warden is added to the game. Before we do though, I will be leaving tomorrow on a trip to see a bunch of family, and we'll be gone for a little over a week. I will have a bunch of videos going up in the meantime, mostly going over every single troop in the entire game as a 1000 milestone thing, going over every single one, breaking it down per rarity, so we'll have that going up over the course of the next week, and then we'll be back hopefully several days after, and we'll go from there. But anyways, as far as this week is concerned, of course we got this event going on. As far as the troop that we have here, this is pretty useless. It steals some attack from the first enemy, boosted by green allies, and then shifts it into life. It's basically a much weaker version of Wild Queen, while also having similar covers to stuff like Truffle and such, so you're basically never really going to be using this thing. Overall, pretty bad. You just get it for Kingdom Stars. One noteworthy thing about it though, Vale does reach the 21 star as of currently, so it does end up getting that extra star, plus it's a little bit easier of course to get to 20 star as well as 10 star for those extra stats. As far as the event key drop table this week, it is associated to Vale. Most noteworthy thing that is in the Vale drop table is by far the Wild Queen, pretty useful for Guild Wars, which of course we just had going on last week, but Wild Queen, pretty good option for that. Overall, as far as viable options that are still here, not really too many. The silent one can kind of be used for its 4-time silence and stuff like that, but for the most part it's mostly a skip. Everything that you see here other than the 4 Warren's troop are available through the drop table, but I'd probably say skip overall for this week unless you really want to try for Wild Queen. Otherwise, nothing is really particularly special from this kingdom that you're going to be using a lot. Maybe like a 50% Wild Folk here, but even something like that's barely ever used compared to other mana starts within the game, especially since it's not one of the Skull Spammer ones, or really even better at all. So overall, probably worth skipping unless you really want to try for that Wild Queen attempt. As far as events that we got going on this week, we do have a Tower of Doom, which comes like once a year seemingly these days. I think it's like 3 or 4 times a year. It's very rare, once every 11 weeks. But anyways, as far as Tower of Doom, still the same kind of premise as always. You want to report back to your guild what all of the good rooms are, like the unlock scrolls, the fireball, heroism, and whatever else you want to report back that is useful. Anyways, it plays out the same. Make sure not to do every single room, as that is a very huge waste, and you only want to do the rooms that are actually good. It is different for every single guild, however it is the same amongst your guild mates, so make sure to communicate with them where all of the good rooms are. And we'll be doing the entirety of my guild's Tower of Doom today, or at least as far as we need to do. It gives rewards up to the 25th floor completion, so you want to get to floor 26 in order to claim every single reward, as well as having this fully filled out, though that generally gets filled out way before you end up reaching the floor 26, assuming the rest of your guild is coming along with you. Aside from that, as far as things that we got going on this week, we got the Vale faction of the Warrens on this Tuesday. It's a green-yellow restriction fraction. Wednesday we're going to be having the Vale pets, the little goat thingy. Thursday we have the Vale class of the Bard. Bard's kind of outclassed by quite a few other classes in the current state of the game. Don't feel like it really gets used too much, but you can get some XP for it if nothing else. And as the timer shows, Bounty Hunter is this Friday. We're going to be getting a new blue green-blue. I believe it has like a freeze devour mechanic on it too, kind of interesting. Also showed a team for that since we will not be around during that, though of course the other troop's not currently within the game, but it's the still kind of same premise as every bounty these days. As far as the actual Soulforge itself, oh, that's funny. I didn't even look at this earlier. Well, Wild Queen is both in the event key drop table and in Soulforge this week. So, yeah, you have every possible way of getting Wild Queen. So I would highly advise doing so before the end this week. Otherwise, it could be quite some time before you'll be able to do so again. Definitely the most noteworthy thing that is available in the Soulforge right now. So, worth considering. Aside from that, I believe this is the first time Archduke is in the Soulforge. Not 100% certain on that, pretty sure he is. Pretty useless troop though, definitely go for like Wild Queen or something, but if you're still looking for him, if he's one of the few that you're missing, he's around. Speaking about things that you might be missing, Spring Imp and Summer Imp, these imps that go on seasonal rotations, they are in Soulforge. Generally it's not worth getting a legend, as it's pretty bad value compared to getting a mythic, but still worth mentioning since they're pretty seasonal. And aside from that, though they still can rotate in Soulforge at any point. And web spinners actually here. Once again, generally not worth crafting legends. However, it is one of a few legends like Tesla and the such that is potentially worth getting. Its most noteworthy gimmick is that it deals triple damage to poisoned and webbed enemies. And by the time you get this trait, you also have the second trait, which inflicts web whenever you do skulls, which means everything that does not have immune to web, it will deal triple damage to. And there's a lot of stuff that doesn't have immune to web. Immune to web as a standalone trait is a very rare. So generally only things that have things like impervious, for example, actually have immune to it, so it gets to do a lot of damage, can loop it somewhat into itself. Not as good as Truffle, Beatrix, and the such for doing such, but it can still do it effectively, getting some of that mana back into itself, though it's mostly used, obviously, for its triple damage skulls. And yeah, definitely make sure to pick up a Wild Queen. That's pretty nice. And aside from that, pretty noteworthy weapon, Yasmin's Pride. I do feel like it's falling off of meta a little bit, but still good. It's particularly used for Catchers the Bull and any kind of like HP buffing team. It gets to eliminate all armor from an enemy and then gives a bunch of life based on how much armor you eliminated. It's one of those upscaling weapons, kind of like Mang, but for HP instead of skulls, or instead of attack. So overall, pretty nice option to consider. Actually, it's more like Earth's Fury than Mang. Earth's Fury gives it to all your allies, similar to how this also gives it to all your allies while boost ratioing at a 3-to-1. So pretty good weapon to end up picking up. Probably the only one I would say to pick up is this Doom weapon you can actually get for 500 gems from the Tower of Doom, which is the more advised way of doing it. Forget if I actually showed it while I was there, but don't forget, pretty much any time a weapon comes through an event, it is a good idea to pick it up. It costs 500 gems to end up reaching tier 4 and is highly advised. It'll help your guild get the event done. It'll help you get to 25th completion for the event, so you get the maximum amount of forward scrolls, as well as not having to craft a weapon by alternative means. And it helps get your entire guild done with the event. So overall, pretty nice. Aside from that, let's go and get into those teams. Oh, also, how could I forget to mention it? So, have you noticed anything? As of today, there is no more Lycanthropy gems falling from skies randomly. They should be Uber Doom Skulls instead if they do. And it'll be the new seasonal potion thingy that's coming in next season, once next season starts 1 week from today. But yes, we no longer have to deal with Lycanthropy. There's still things that have the effect and the capability of creating the gems and all that. However, as far as just falling naturally from sky, we do not need to worry about Lycanthropy anymore until something gets Howlstorm and it happens to be meta for whatever reason. Hopefully not. Anyways, as far as green, Tower of Doom, do be mindful. You are actually allowed to use any colored weapon you want. You do not have to use a green weapon. Everything else on your team does have to be green. However, you are not penalized in any way, shape, or form for using any hero weapon you want. So you are allowed to just use Urskia Shield or whatever else you want to mess around with as far as weapon. In this case, Urskia Shield in order to feed Rowanne. You can go double Leprechaun as well. This is superior mostly because they do have a little bit of Death Mark spam, and it's kind of just a precaution to make sure Rowanne doesn't die, of course. Though you can just go double Leprechaun, it is a little bit quicker, though that is a little bit safer doing it that way. One other way, of course, Truffle spam. You can reorganize this a little bit if you want to use Hero more so as a tank. In this case, we're using it a bit more offensively and with the weapon, as well as doing it for the Green Storm and spell. Not too many things you really need as a spell, however, it makes sure you don't get slowed down, if nothing else, for those few rooms that do have the Submerge, because obviously Truffle will not be able to deal with that, though you do have Skull spam. And one pretty nice thing, if you do have these Doomed Weapon, if you have Doomed Club or the green version of it, Doomed Glaive, I believe it's called, it does get boost ratio whenever you fight a Doom. Not really an aspect you see that often, because obviously most teams don't have a Doom on it. However, in Tower of Doom, that actually does happen, because the final room in every single floor has a Doom at the end, so you end up getting the boost ratio for any of those kind of weapons. And of course, the full AoE with Doom Skull Converts are ideally the best ones you want to be using, and you have access to all 6 of them, so if you want to use a different color one, you can. Obviously, ideal if you're using a Truffle team to use either the green or brown one, so that excess mana goes into it. In this case, we're just doing it for the brown, since we're not using a different brown onto our team. As far as the faction for tomorrow for Pan's Vale, it is a green-yellow restriction, so you can use anything green-yellow related. This is just kind of a standard quick kill if alternative Rowanne kind of thing. Actually, you can't even just go Rowanne build if you really want to. You do have access to green, but since we had access to yellow, I figured we show the guard's avatar again, though you can just build into a green Rowanne if you really want to. Of course, the other alternative is just spam finesse. You do have access to yellow, so you can end up doing that the entire way. The other alternative of a similar build, of course, is just to use a Ski of Shield Rowanne build, but to have to make it pure green yellow, and it'll end up working out. As far as pure faction for this place, pretty straightforward. You just run 3 Lunas into a bunny. You can also run 4 Luna. Main premise of this is you end up casting the bunny, has almost full mana just to start with, and then it pretty much gets off of enchant. It gets to create a bunch of yellow. One nice thing about creating yellow, other than the fact that we need a bunch of yellow, but all the yellow gain is she also explodes a random yellow gem when taking a random gem when matching yellow. So it can explode any of them whenever you match the yellows and just gain a bunch of mana that way. Whenever you do the bunny corn or just take yellows in general, and you just use her full AoE in order to kill out the enemy. Has a couple additional effects that can end up utilizing as well, but overall you just kind of keep spamming it until you win. Kind of standard AoE build, pure faction. As far as the Bard class this Thursday, you can end up running Dawnbringer with triple Finessa. Finessa does some damage, has some power, counts as yellow, gives you a little bit extra mana, and yeah, you just kind of keep spamming and be good to go. Overall, pretty straightforward. You could even go Black Mana Goals or something similar if you don't have Dawnbringer, of course. And aside from that, we have ourselves Bounty Hunter. Of course, I cannot show the Bounty Hunter troop since it is not released yet. It won't be until Friday. However, it is, I believe, a green-blue that does a bunch of damage and freezes them. And if they're already frozen, it has a chance to devour, which is pretty cool. Overall, you're not really going to be using it, though, because Tagraki, you're pretty much just going to spam Tagraki. Corpse Mirror is kind of just there for a little bit extra mana. And True Damage and Ogress does all the mana accumulation. Pretty standard kind of Bounty Hunter event where you guys to do that triple combo and just plop the Bounty Troop in last slot. And we can do it with the +2/+2 banner. Still not sure why it is that way. However, it works pretty good for this team since the core of the team benefits quite a bit from having the +2 green, +2 red. +2 green to get Ogress running, +2 red to get Tagraki rolling. And Corpse Mirror is kind of just there for the excess mana that you're going to be getting off of Ogress Explosion. Fortunately, no purple to use in order to kind of mana sink it. However, you're already going to have enough damage and speed that it should be fine without it. But anyways, guys, that will wrap it up for this video. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Later today, at a little bit of a weird time because my schedule is kind of all over the place as I finish up a bunch of last-minute things, but we will be streaming the entirety of Tower of Doom all the way from the very first floor to 25th completion. Will be the first time we ever try doing it in one day. But yeah, I'll be doing that later today. I'll hand out a bunch of redeem codes and do that here on the channel and just kind of celebrate before we head out for a little bit. We'll still have videos coming out while I'm gone. Mostly a bunch of stuff going over every troop in the game, as I mentioned. But yeah, and we can finally celebrate Lycanthropy being gone. Which is going to be nice. Not completely gone, but you know, at least we don't need to worry about it from the sky anymore until next season makes us worry about something else. Though I'm pretty sure it won't be more annoying than Lycanthropy. But anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Hope you all have a wonderful week. I will see you guys in about a week and a half or so. And catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone. And thank you for watching.